What's good? You know what time it is. Rocking with your boy TheCzarr, all rights reserved. Now, you know how it works. Hit the subscription button, hit the bell beside, rock with me. Also, go ahead and hit that paypal.me/TheCzarr, capital THE, capital CZARR. It's a hot day, but we still gonna get it in no matter what. Now, with this next production, I know that people are looking forward to me speaking about Robert Allen, and that's going to be coming up very soon as I retain all information. But now we're going to speak briefly about importance that I was speaking about when I was talking about releasing a hit video that helps you to understand what's going on. Now, this is surrounding the death certificate that we saw. You got to keep in mind, death certificates should have certain information. Shout to the peaceful lawyer that's helped me through this whole debacle and able to interpret what was actually wrong. You see a nurse, and again, pin your name, comment your name, and I'll give you the credit. The 20-year nurse is what we'll call you, actually hopped down there and was talking about it didn't have a cause. Yes, I agree. It didn't have a cause of why he died. A death certificate will usually also say the cause of death, and it did not describe that. That would be one manner that we also seen out in public. But after coincidingly speaking with the peaceful lawyer, I retained more information on understanding something else that was very troubling about this certificate. Now, I'm not necessarily going to come out and call it blatantly fake, even though that's what some people think. I just don't see it being real. But another aspect, which I guess would support it being false in nature, would be it did not have a medical examiner notified on it. Now, there was information that the hospital did check in on them, but what's more disturbing is that the man who signed off from the mortuary, which would be the morgue, his signature was there. So, transporting him briefly, considering he's dead, what examination room did he enter, if at all? And who was the examiner that looked at him and decided he was deceased before the mortuary signed off on him? That's confusing to me. So it looks like straight from the scene of where he died, he got transported to the morgue. That really wouldn't make sense, as we know that there's too many variables for something like that to have happened. How is this acceptable? Even a little bit. These are the factors that make no sense, that don't add up to what we need to understand. How do you go from a scene of crime and allegedly being dead on the scene to ended up in a morgue? That's not very normal, and it's not consistent with how an investigation is actually done, let alone we didn't even see a forensic team. This would be a problem. If I don't see a forensic team, how am I even deciding that, look, this guy's deceased, he made certain decisions, now his life is not in jeopardy, it's gone. These are the problems that we're trying to figure out around the scene of the crime. That's part of what I'm saying. There's so many issues that to blatantly say that there was no effect in any manner to have had him end up this way that could not constitute a setup would be questionable at the least. So it's questionable on whether he was set up or not. You have many different variables that are pointing towards a mastermind. You have interrogations that are just now popping up, ruling that they have evidence to support some type of definitive answer. So in my mind, how isn't this, let's say, problematic at the least? You see, there could have been many different ways that investigators went about this, but they don't want certain things released, but what they're allowing to be released is very, very questionable, which I don't understand, because they could get these documents pulled down at any time. But again, I told you, when fake documents are released, many more questions pop up. Now, according to the peaceful attorney, from what we talked about, in Florida, you do not have to release the final death certificate publicly. It's private off the rip, and only certain people could reach it if they'd want to. Where's the support to release this information? And or why cannot the father not have this information? Now, this was his son, proven. Why can't he get this sort of information so he's able to verify what actually happened? That would be an issue to me. And that's something I really don't understand. Yet, at the same time, I do get that there's problems going on behind the scenes. And that's why I'm respectful when I speak in nature. But that's also why I understand the fact that there's more to the story. You see, when this fake death certificate was released, a man's specific name was on it that we're not going to say at this time because much more research needs to be done into him. But remember, we're still missing a passenger. How is this possible we're missing a passenger? Was a fake death certificate released. And then we're also seeing a disappearing niece. All of these things within the same time period. It doesn't fit together to anything rational, to any type of rational institution of occurrence. How have investigators not realized this? I mean, they're so focused on these 4 men that they're missing the point. They're truly not understanding what's going on here. Matter of fact, I don't think they had the clear evidence they spoke of. What they found is something I'm going to presume is situational, that in nature does not hold weight that they wished it did, but they're going to spin it in a way it does. I also wanted to thank the commenter that thanked me, that also let me know something very important, that in Florida, the way investigations are done, that there's not much needed for that probable cause aside from witnesses that are saying they think they saw and think they heard versus a lot of other states. So yes, I guess that is permissible and admissible in court. But at the same time, when we examine the evidence very closely, more questions have arisen that they're not really given any type of attention to. So I want to ask people in their objective thought, allegedly, could there be someone on the inside that's involved in helping this to occur the way it's occurred? Was there someone that's directly involved with this institution of authority that could be helping out in some way, shape, or form? This is never something we want to think about. But it's very questionable how everything was released. The lack of pictures, the lack of forensics, the terrible job at preserving evidence, just the rush to manhunt without even checking. How did you guys go on a manhunt before you checked the residence of these individuals? That's very shaky right there. Because usually the first thing you do is go to these individuals' houses if you're on a manhunt for someone presumed to have been a murderer, and check their residence for any type of evidence to support this thought, to support the ideology behind what it is you're claiming. But you did not support this, nor did you release this. In the same way, I've been sitting here thinking about the type of decisions you guys have been making aside from everything. Why does it all constitute issues? There's more issues arising than solutions or answers to the situation. Aside from the fact that you have a guy saying he's mentally incapable of standing trial, and now is when you find this evidence. To the normal person, this makes no sense. To the normal person, we're saying. We're not talking about somebody who may be new. We're not talking about somebody who may be inquisitive. We're talking about an average, everyday person that puts everything together. None of it makes sense. Why are these authorities allowed to half-butt their job and still get a recommendation, slap on the back, congratulations? And how many years have you guys been doing this? And you missed every vital step needed to specifically build the picture you do not have. So now you've missed several other crimes in commencement that are far more intriguing because you failed to do what it was you were supposed to do, because you want to chase 4 black men half across the country, up north, down into the south, down into the right. You want to run all around looking for these men that you had someone slapping you up in your backyard. Is that how y'all move? You gonna let someone slap you around in your own state but try and say, we got these guys? No, you fucked up. And excuse my language, you messed up. You really did mess up. Because you missed everything you should have gained to find the mastermind. Now, it's by luck you find this guy. It's all going to be lucky. Everything's going to be luck. And I dare you to pat the man on the back that does it. No way. No way. No way, not after the job and the effort you guys put forth. It's embarrassing, honestly. That effort's embarrassing. And you really need to re-examine your team, the way you guys collect evidence. You let a Riva Motorsports employee walk up on a crime scene, pull the victim out the car that was shot, and try and do CPR. Does that make sense? You had a witness contradicting himself upload a social media story to break the news. Now, does that make sense? A rogue news anchor with a camera on a murder witness. Does that make sense? Do you see how many holes are dancing around in this story that you have not plugged yet? Come on. And you guys are top-notch investigators. Top-notch. Oh, we did this for a long time. We got it in the bag. Oh, my father's father was an investigator. You guys are bad. You really need to fix that. For real. I don't care. You need to fix it. Now. Nobody's playing around with you getting taxpayer money and you're doing terrible jobs. Trying to persecute 4 men with a minimal amount of evidence at best. While someone does worse crimes as far as even implicating these young men, you're running in like they're the breadwinners. If this was a long, drawn-out case and investigation, like you said you were watching these men for a while, I caught you. I heard that one. We were watching them since June and stuff. You did a bad job. That's all. Why was a false death certificate released missing a medical advisor now? This is another one now. All rights reserved.